Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Dustin Starr here with Championship Wrestling. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk some pro wrestling. Daquan, how are you? Wrestling with MMA. Good afternoon. What a show. The last 2 weeks have been fantastic. Nick Aldis defending Sweet Charlotte, the 10 pounds of gold last week against Mike Bennett. Of course, Camille and Maria Kanellis was a big part of that. It was a lot of fun. And then today, man, the first two matches were hard hitting, but then talk about women's division action. Priscilla Kelly and Thunder Rosa tore the house down, standing ovation. That was actually the first time that match has been broadcast on television. It was on pay-per-view and it was also on a stream for the NWA. But the first time it was actually on television was on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. Dominic, how are you? What's up, man? Let's talk some wrestling. Terry, hello again. Thanks for joining us. Says Dustin 5-star. Oh, yeah. Terry. Corrine said, love the show. You and your wife are great hosts. Thank you so much, man. We can't wait to be calling the action. And a special shout out to Todd Kinley and Alyssa Marino today, man. They're a great team on the broadcast. And of course, me and my Maria on February 27th, we will be doing all the commentary of the new Memphis wrestling and all new lineup. You guys met the women's division today. Was there anybody that stood out to you when we were introducing the Memphis Wrestling Women's Division? Wrestling with MMA says all three matches today were bangers, but man, Thunder Rosa and Priscilla Kelly brought it. Oh, they hit each other so hard. Just what a match. And I actually believe that match right there is probably what helped Priscilla Kelly get to that next level. And then also Thunder Rosa, man, that was a good week for her. I remember that she did Primetime Live that night, and the very next night was live on Dynamite defending the NWA Women's World Championship. So very, very cool. Let's see. Big Metroid said the NWA Women's Championship was great. Yes, sir. Totally agree. Corrine says CC Chanel, she's great. I'm biased because I'm all CCL. Oh, next week, it's Ruby Reyes versus CC Chanel right here on Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. And then also next Saturday, we'll be 1 day away from our television tapings. So tomorrow, 1 week from tomorrow, Championship Wrestling from Memphis will have its first television tapings, and I can't wait. Daquan says lag. Am I lagging, guys? If so, I can grab another a different Wi-Fi. CC is great. Nico is not. Coley, I couldn't have said it better myself. Not as nicely, anyway. Corrine says AEW needs to improve. The belt is too small. Well, a lot of the wrestlers, the female wrestlers, are smaller, so I think they're just trying to make it look better aesthetically instead of having a big lugging championship belt. Terry says Thunder Rosa made 2020 great for wrestling fans. She definitely brought the women's division up a notch. And I mean, she did it. She did it on a national stage, but she also did it with the NWA, which I thought was fantastic. I mean, obviously they don't have the reach that an AEW or WWE has, but gosh, man, Thunder Rosa, she really helped develop women's wrestling even more so. You know, when you think about the women's revolution. So very good stuff. Crean says you guys have done well during COVID. Yes, so during COVID, so our television tapings 1 week from tomorrow, we will be at limited capacity at only 25%. Everybody's going to be tested before they arrive at the event. And of course, with the fans being limited capacity, we'll be doing our temperature checks and wearing masks and doing all that kind of stuff. So we are going to follow all the proper protocol. But yeah, we've done well during COVID. There's silver lining to everything. You can see here, I'm in my home studio. There's a green screen back here and lights and all that kind of stuff. And we learned to use the resources we had when the studio shut down. So let's see. Katsuki Bakugo will burn Nico Marquez. Okay. The original Fred Style says, hey, brother, can't wait for next Sunday. We're 8 days away. Fred Style, what's up? Haven't seen that one in a little bit, Fred. 8 days away from bucket list. Memphis wrestling is back. 8 days. I can't wait. Coley says, I'm in the resort in Punta Cana. Very, very cool. Corrine says, when are you wrestling? Well, pay attention to Championship Wrestling from Memphis. I'm sure you'll see me in the ring at some point. I will have hosting and broadcast duties alongside my lovely Maria, but that doesn't mean that things can't get out of hand and somebody might need to get whooped. So you'll see me in the ring at some point or another, I'm sure. I'm not done by a long shot. Bo says we need a full-length Suit You theme. 10 seconds ain't cutting it. Man, there's a 60-second song. If you follow us at CW30 Wrestling, we posted that jingle. It reminds me of the Junior Garlic Butter Bacon Burger. Suit you. They really suit you. It does slap. Hey, Willie, how are you? Coley says, what happened to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood? What do you mean nothing happened to it? What are you asking? Nothing happened to them. Did I know of, or did I miss something? I was talking to Dave Marquez this morning. Nothing has happened to it, so I'm not exactly sure. Just give me more details on your question. Daquan says you should change one of your moves to a headlock driver. Oh, there's a little funny story about the headlock driver. I remember EC3 in NXT, or it was the developmental territory at the time in about 2010, where I worked with him. He was Derek Bateman at the time, and he came up with this move where you put the guy in the headlock and then you do a frontwards DDT on him. And everybody, whoa, it was so cool. And I remember him explaining that he can't show anybody else. Like it needs to be a secret that he just premieres on TV because somebody will steal it. Because sometimes the top guys that are on Raw and SmackDown, they'll see something in NXT and they'll take it. And it's like they came up with it, regardless if they did or didn't. So headlock driver, that's what that reminds me of. Willie says Slice Boogie should go after the United Wrestling Network Heavyweight Championship or the TV Championship. Slice Boogie is a member of the Bodega. He's the only one without championship gold, so I can only imagine that it's a matter of time before he's going after one of those championship belts. So I agree with you. I am a big Slice Boogie fan. And I know that Fred's in here. I know Fred is a fan of all the Bodega. Terry says, reminds me of the wrestling commercials of the 70s. Yeah, actually, that Suit You commercial is not that old. Probably just 2 years, maybe. I know some of the guys that are in the commercial, but it does give you that kind of 70s or 80s feel to it for some reason. Maybe it's the tuxedos. David, what's up? He says, hello, Dustin. How's everybody doing today? Man, we are doing good. Just thrilled to talk some professional wrestling. Next week, we'll be talking some Memphis wrestling because we have our television tapings coming up next week. There are still a couple of tickets available. We sold some more this morning online, so we appreciate that. More tickets for March the 7th. The tickets are only $10. Even if you're at a distance and you want to help the show out, go to championshipwrestlingmemphis.com and hit buy tickets and purchase a ticket, and you can donate it to somebody that's local here. Shout out to Destiny. She did that. Much love to her. Let's see. Corrine says, I like EC3. He really made a name for himself when he went to Impact. Yeah, I don't think he's caught that same stardom that he had when he was first at Impact or when he first debuted in NXT for the second time. Man, what a wasted opportunity there. 5-Star Fan Cam is in the house. If you guys want to see some more Dustin and Maria Star matches, click on 5-Star Fan Cam there. He just said Bodega. That's 5-Star Fan Cam Fred. And this is actually pretty cool. You guys will like this. So 5-Star Fan Cam Fred will be on hand at our television tapings, and he will be taking behind the scenes footage, stuff that you typically would not see on our television program, but stuff you might see like on a WWE network or something, like behind the scene cuts and stuff like that. He's going to be filming all that. We'll edit it together and we'll put it right here on our YouTube channel on Championship Wrestling. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially like history being made. You never know what's going to happen 5, 10, 20 years down the line. And if this thing does really well, all this stuff will be really fun to rewatch. And it's going to be fun when it happens anyway. So 5-Star Fan Cam Fred, shout out to him. He's going to be taking some behind the scenes footage for us. YouTube exclusives. The man with 2 first names, he says, hi, what are we reacting to? We're reacting to Championship Wrestling. The new episode came out today. You must have missed it. You had Thunder Rosa versus Priscilla Kelly. Danny Limelight versus Kevin Martinson. And of course, Slice Boogie versus Carl Fredericks, which is like a New Japan Pro Wrestling match right there. Very, very good. Crane says, how hard is it to set up TV tapings? It's extremely hard. Extremely hard. As far as booking guys and booking girls and booking buildings and getting insurance and lights and production teams and all the details, and then COVID tests are a whole nother wrinkle into this whole thing. So it's very, very difficult doing it. Ricky's Wrestling says, hello, how are you, Ricky? Thanks for joining us today, talking some pro wrestling. Willie says, the Rock and Roll Express, did they ever wrestle in Memphis? Willie, do your research, bro. The Rock and Roll Express were invented in Memphis. That's where they started. That's where it was created. Willie, please look up Memphis Wrestling on Wikipedia and read up a little bit. Everybody who's anybody, yes, I said that right, came through Memphis. Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, The King. I mean, the list goes on and on. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody came through Memphis. Kamala was created in Memphis. Rock and Roll Express was created in Memphis. Jim Cornette was created in Memphis. Jimmy Hart was created in Memphis. Hayes says, are you still jacked? Yeah, I haven't stopped training. Are you kidding me? Hey, bro, am I still jacked? He's not listening to me. I was going to ask my smelly 12-year-old in there. What kind of question is that? I guess you'll have to wait and see. Wait till I tear this suit off. The man with two first names says I recorded it on cable. Well, you can watch on demand anytime you want right here on this YouTube channel. Also, all the matches are available in full right now on this YouTube channel, so you can check that out. Kareen says Heather Monroe, first women's champion. We'll see about that. United Wrestling Network will crown a women's champion, but then also we'll have a Memphis women's champion as well that we'll be crowning here at some point very, very soon. Man with two first names says TV is so difficult. Yes, it is. Lots of moving parts. He also says, especially now that we're down with the sickness. Oh, that's a whole different thing, getting everybody tested. Believe it or not, some people are scared to get tested. I guess they fear that they're going to test positive for it, which I think if that was the case, I would like to know that I'm sick so I don't get everybody else sick. Anyways, 5-star fan cam. Fred says, Mr. Tennessee, will you ever compete in fitness competitions? You never say never, but I do not have it planned. It's not even in my thinking process at this point. I do not plan to ever compete again, honestly. I did that to get sponsorships with nutrition companies, which I did. And then also I won back-to-back in 2012 and 2013 overall Mr. Tennessee. So I think that's good enough. That's cool. I'm satisfied with that. Ricky's Wrestling Channel says Macho Man. Terry says, so next this time next week, we'll be seeing Memphis Wrestling. Okay, so on Sunday, the 14th, we do our first round of tapings. So on February 27th, which is 3 weeks away, you will see the premiere of Championship Wrestling from Memphis. So let's see. Yeah, there's 2 more episodes, and then the Memphis show launches. That'll be episode 100. In turn, it will be episode number 1 of Championship Wrestling from Memphis. But the tapings are next week. So if you have tickets to the tapings, which they're sold out, you'll get a little sneak peek of what's to come. Kareen says, I would like to buy a ticket for someone, but I don't know anyone in Memphis. Well, what we would do, Kareen, if you did that, is you would just send us a DM and let us know that that was you that bought it. And then we can donate that to one of the members of the Boys and Girls Club, or typically a wrestling fan of some kind, hopefully that has kids that can come and attend that typically wouldn't be able to. So we would absolutely make sure that that ticket was donated on your behalf. We work with Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis. We work with the Big Brother, Big Sister of Mid-South. We work with the American Cancer Society, St. Jude. I mean, there's a lot of different organizations that we work with that we can reach out to about those tickets, especially with mentors and mentees. So that would be awesome. Go to championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. We appreciate that for you even thinking about that, Kareem. Circle of Debate says we are looking forward to the first TV tapings. Really excited. Us too, man. Thank you guys for the podcast too. I really appreciate that. Daquan says, what's your thoughts on intergender wrestling? You will see intergender wrestling on Championship Wrestling from Memphis. I am a huge fan of it. I know that most of you guys and gals are big fans of it as well. So we will absolutely have intergender wrestling on our program. David says, I see the bodega as balance, speed, strength team. Danny Limelight provides the speed. Papo Esco's the strength, and Slice Boogie is in between. I totally agree. Willie says, is Priscilla Kelly still with UWN? No, she is with WWE NXT, and so is Lacey Ryan. They just signed their contracts 2 weeks ago. Ricky said, who is the tallest wrestler in championship wrestling? Well, the tallest wrestler in championship wrestling from Memphis will more than likely, no doubt, be humongous. And I would think that the tallest in championship wrestling from Hollywood would probably be Watts. So the man with 2 first names says, I got tested for HIV. It was the best decision I ever made. Okay. I've taken 2 corona tests this week. I don't know what the HIV had to do with it, but he said he got a corona test. I've been tested twice already this week. And we will be tested again before our television tapings. Let's see. Let me get caught up here. Circle of Debate says, are we going to see the golden boy of Memphis become the world champion of Memphis? I'm going to book myself on top, bro. Come on. Jerry Lawler did it for all those years. Why can't Dustin Starr? No, I will not be booking myself as the world champion. I can promise you. The man with 2 first names says that Jerry Lawler will be the Memphis champion. No, he will not. He will not be the Memphis champion. Lawler is coming back to Memphis. Actually, Lawler lives in Memphis, so he's not really coming back to anything. Lawler versus Dundee for the championship. No, sorry, man. I think you're in the wrong you're in the wrong generation. Love those guys to death, but it's not the 80s right now. Like, it's not trying to be disrespectful, just not going to happen. But I wish it was the 80s. That'd be great, though, in Memphis wrestling in the 80s. David says Memphis also had a connection with the American Wrestling Association for a while. Jerry Lawler was the AWA World Heavyweight Champion for a while. Yes, he was. I was at that match and May 9th, 1988 at Mid-South Coliseum. I was just a kid. Jackie Fargo was the special referee, and the King pinned Kurt Hennig. He counted 4. Jackie Fargo counted 4, and Lawler won the title. So you're absolutely right about that, David. The first world championship for the King. Big Metroid said the Nasty Boys, Rock and Roll Express, and the Fabulous Freebirds are some of the tag teams that came through Memphis. Don't forget about the Fabulous Ones. You said Fabulous Freebirds, but definitely the Fabulous Ones. You had the Moondogs. You had the Bushwhackers, who were the sheep herders back in the day. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm not even going to entertain the man with 2 first names, I guess. He's going on a tangent. David says, plus Lawler and Superstar Bill Dundee were AWA World Tag Team Champions. Yes, they were briefly. Yes. Is the humongous guy Madman Fulton? No. Harry Jones, how are you? Circle of Debate, what's up? Kenneth says Heather Monroe's #1. I can't deny that. Daquan says Canadian Destroyer. I'm not sure where that came from, but don't put that on me. I don't want any part of that. Bo says move over Planet Jarrett. Planet Star is in orbit now. Actually, I talked to Jerry Jarrett about a week ago, and I talked to Jeff Jarrett probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. He texted me when we made the announcement. Jerry Jarrett called and gave me some advice. So we are very, very friendly with the Jarretts. Man with 2 first names says Terry Funk is back, baby. Jackie Fargo is coming back to Memphis. Oh, there's a little story there. So I am friends with the Fargo family. And the day that Jackie went into the hospital and passed away, I was actually hosting a live radio show in Memphis and had to break that news. And it was just sucked. But at the same time, it was like, wow, what are the chances, of kind of breaking that news on the radio as it was going on with Jackie Fargo. So you can actually get Jackie Fargo t-shirts on our website at championshipwrestlingmemphis.com/store. Circle of a Debate says, can we finally see Ray Rosas versus Dustin Starr? You're on the right track there. Definitely on the right track there. Now, keep in mind, as we open things up more and more here in the United States, and as travel becomes less of an issue and coronavirus becomes less of an issue, you'll see a lot more of those things come to fruition because not everybody is available all the time like they have been in the past. So keep your eyes open. You're on the right page, Circle of Debate. I want that match. Terry says you talked about all the wrestlers who have roots in Memphis and brought wrestling to the national spotlight thanks to Andy Kaufman. Okay, Andy Kaufman did do a lot as far as in that one little spot for Memphis Wrestling, but I don't think in any way Andy Kaufman ever made Memphis Wrestling. You got to remember that Andy Kaufman reached out to Memphis Wrestling because it was so popular. WWE told him that they were not interested, and so he knew that Memphis Wrestling was the end all be all for wrestling. So, in really, Andy Kaufman piggybacked off Memphis Wrestling. Memphis Wrestling benefited from it with the national spotlight. True, but Kaufman needed Memphis Wrestling to make that happen. So I don't want to hear the argument that Kaufman, made Memphis Wrestling. Let's see. Willie said, did Jeff Jarrett and Eddie Gilbert ever wrestle each other? Oh, I'm sure they did. They were in the territory together for a long time. Big fan of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Bigger fan of Jeff Jarrett, especially working with him. 5-Star Fan Cam. I've seen them both wrestle in Jersey City, New Jersey, 2 months later on an AWA house show. The man with 2 first names says you're in great shape, man. I watch your matches on YouTube. Enjoyed. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And at some point, I'm going to have to tear this suit off and kick some more butt. So stay tuned for that. Daquan says, are you retired? No, I'm not retired. No, that's absolutely not. Do I look retired? Now, hosting a show and doing commentary on a show, it hurts a whole lot less than actually wrestling on a show. So maybe it's just being a little bit smarter. Twitter. Blowing up. Thank you, guys. Very, very cool. Thank you. That's my NWA 10 pounds of gold. Your match with Jeff Jarrett was A1. Willie, that match was a lot of fun, especially the strut off between My Maria and Double J. That was a lot of fun. That crowd was crazy. 5-Star Fan Cam said I was talking about Lawler and Hennig. Okay, I got you. I remember that match. It's funny. Okay. Maria told me to keep it down because Reese the Beast is taking a nap. David says, I'm going to look for Pro Wrestling Illustrated's virtual roundtable online. I read that Heather Monroe was part of the roundtable on intergender wrestling. I'd like to see that. Well, I've been a big fan of intergender wrestling for a long time, and I recently watched some WWE from 2000. And man, big Prince Albert clothesline Lita out of her shoes, man. And just some of the things that they did, I thought some of it was a little outlandish. But fast forwarding to today's generation, I've seen a lot of Heather Monroe intergender matches. I've seen, I'm trying to think of who else. There's a ton of intergender wrestling out there right now, and I think if it's done right, then it's good. Intergender tag team matches. We had, who was it? It was Heather Monroe and Royce Isaacs versus Tyler Rust and Sandra Moon. One of the most popular matches on this YouTube channel. And I love it. And the men weren't able to touch the women, and the women weren't able to touch the men, which I thought was a little bit silly. I don't like those rules. So we're going to mix it up in Championship Wrestling from Memphis. You might not see like one-on-one all the time, a man versus a woman, but you will see storylines that include intergender tag team matches and physicality between a woman wrestler and a man's wrestler. So we do plan to have that coming to you very, very soon. I'm a fan of it. I think it's cool. Big Metroid said the matches between Jeff Jarrett and Eddie Gilbert are on YouTube. I thought so. They had to have wrestled each other before. Terry says my comment did not come out right. Meant to say Memphis Wrestling made the national spotlight first. Oh yeah, absolutely. I will. Yeah, I don't. There are some people that think that Andy Kaufman should be in the Hall of Fame for what he did. And I don't disagree just because of the simple fact that like Drew Carey's in the WWE Hall of Fame. So if Drew Carey's in, then Andy Kaufman should definitely be in. But Memphis Wrestling was extremely popular even before Andy Kaufman came along. And I know you know that, Terry. And he did help. I wasn't even there. Did help them get to the national spotlight, especially that thing with David Letterman. Holy cow, it was crazy. But just all the news media and how smart Andy Kaufman was, and it was just very, very cool. But it was a very small part of Memphis wrestling history. Although it was big, it didn't go on for very long, I guess is what I'm saying. Now the longevity of Memphis wrestling is Lawler, Dundee, Handsome Jimmy, Eddie Gilbert, you know, King Cobra, shoot, Coco Beware, the guys that were here even after. Let's see. David said, Dustin, I read that you are a former NWA Southeast Junior Heavyweight Champion. I'm a former NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. Don't know what the Southeast is. Have you ever held any other titles? I asked because the information is hard to find. Yeah, so I won the Memphis Wrestling Junior Southern Heavyweight title. I won the Memphis Wrestling Southern Tag Team titles twice. Oh gosh, there's so many you couldn't list just from random companies, but those are the ones that you'd probably know a little bit more about. The NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship was a long time ago. That was back in the days where nobody was even talking about NWA, to be honest with you. Kurt says Memphis Championship Wrestling is number one with me. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Kurt. In 3 weeks, you'll be able to see it right here on this YouTube channel. Circle of Debate said, we would love to see Jeremy Prophet on Championship Wrestling in Memphis. I don't know if I'm familiar with Jeremy Prophet. It does look familiar. Maybe I have received resumes and promo pictures of people from all over the world, even some that wanted to fly themselves in and work because of the nostalgia of Memphis wrestling. So if anything fell through the cracks, I apologize for that. It's been really tough to keep up with, for sure. JG says, I would like the Hall of Fame determined more than just the McMahons. Well, it's their company. Maria and myself have been toying with having some sort of Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. So, I mean, literally, we could put anybody we want in there, just like McMahon's can. I was just happy Sputnik Monroe finally got in the Hall of Fame. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Daquan says, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, fastest hour in pro wrestling. Raw, the longest hour in pro wrestling. Well, Raw is 3 hours long. And then also, we did coin the term fastest hour in pro wrestling. Not sure that was Hollywood. I think that was just us here in Memphis coming up with that. But yeah, they're 3 hours long. So it's definitely super, super much longer. Willie says Mission Pro Wrestling from Hollywood and Memphis should crossover matches maybe on NWA Power too. Well, first of all, NWA Power is not even in production. Hollywood is not in production as of right now. And then Mission Pro Wrestling, that's really kind of something that's not really in our hands, so to speak. But yeah, it could totally happen. Absolutely. We'd love to bring Thunder Rosa in, of all people, for sure. Bo says Sexy Stars world title run in Lucha Underground was when my eyes first started to open up at Intergender Wrestling. Pretty big for me at the time, despite Stars' name being Persona non grata. Okay. Yeah, so I thought that was cool too. I loved the intergender matches on Lucha Underground, and that's what turned me around on it. So I'm glad you brought that up. So Lucha Underground kind of opened my eyes to the intergender wrestling, and then seeing it happen in California with Heather Monroe and such was really, really cool too. Terry says Elvis loved Memphis wrestling. Indeed, he did. Yes, he did. I think there was supposed to be a king type of deal before Elvis passed away, from what I hear. 5-star fan cam. How was your time in TNA? It was very brief. I'm kidding. I worked several explosion matches and did some extra stuff on the pay-per-view weekly. And then once I got signed with WWE's developmental system, I did a tryout match. That was the first match that I went to after I left WWE. Went into Orlando and worked with Impact there and had a great match, great showing and all that kind of stuff. And I'll never forget, they set me down and said, hey, man, what do you do for a living? And I told them, and they said, man, there's no money here. You don't want to do this. If the company actually tells me you don't want to be here, there's no money, I've got to listen to them. So that's kind of how my time with TNA was. Circle of Debate, you trained with him during your tenure in FCW. Trained with who? Yes, I was in FCW. I missed something. I'm sorry. Who are you talking about, Circle of Debate? I trained with who during my tenure in FCW? Terry says also Adam West was a fan. Yes, Adam West actually appeared on Memphis Wrestling wearing his Batman cowl, his mask. JG says it's kind of hard to admire Sexy Star Rain with her being such a terrible person. I'm not sure about her personally. 5-star fan cam says, will you have managers and valets? Very, very good question. Absolutely. I have had that asked me a couple of times on Facebook, but absolutely. We're going to have managers. We're going to have valets. Yeah. You don't see them on the website because you don't know who they're going to be just yet. So that will all be revealed at some point very, very soon. But yes, Memphis Wrestling has had some of the best and worst managers of all time. So why would this be any different? Big Metroid says, I remember when I first saw the Legends of Wrestling 2 case and I was thinking, why is Andy Kaufman in the game? Then I played it and watched the movie Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey. Yes. JG says, purposely injuring another talent over a beef with someone else. That's just very unprofessional, just to say the very least. David says, I remember Drew Carey's entry in the 2001 Royal Rumble and the moment when Kane entered the ring, the way the cameras captured Drew's reaction and Jim Ross commentaries chilled my spine. Yeah, that was just ridiculous. Jeremy Prophet. Okay, I don't remember. I think I remember Jeremy Prophet commenting on that. I don't remember. It might have been our tryout camp. We both did a tryout camp together, probably. Reno Scum was there. Jinder Mahal was there. He actually won the contract out of the camp. Darius Lee. Oh, yeah. What's up, brother? How are you? Where's Derek King? He said he was headed to your house or something. There he is right there in the comments. Derek King. LOL. And is he really laughing out loud, though, Darius, or is he just typing LOL? Let's be honest here. JG said the celebrity wing is kind of full. Is kind of all over the place. Okay, so the celebrity wing is kind of all over the place. Well, that's why it's the celebrity wing. Oh, okay. See? Oh, let me show you this while we're doing Brian Christopher impersonations. This is a little thing that I was going to have autographed by all parties involved. Here you got the superstar Bill Dundee, the King, Jimmy Hart, of course, myself and my lovely Maria, and then Brian, DK here. But Brian passed away before I was able to get him to put a signature on it. Very, very cool though. Back from the casino. All right, let me get caught up here. You guys are sidetracking me. Bo says, yeah, to name someone other than Star, I'd say Taya's brutal street fight with Brian Cage was another one that opened my eyes. Can't wait to see what's next for Taya. She wrapped up with Impact. I want to see Tessa Blanchard. She was kind of one that opened my eyes on that too. Ricky's Wrestling Channel says, I want to be a wrestler when I grow up. Awesome. So did I. Here we are. JG, why is Cyndi Lauper not in the Hall of Fame yet? Not sure. Maybe she has heat. I don't know. Dreaded heat. Oh, it'll get you, right? Right, Darius? Right, Derek? Dreaded heat. Let's see. Willie says, will you have brass knuckles or coal miner glove type of matches? Probably. Daquan says she's not a wrestler. Who is she? 5-star fan cam. DK's new gimmick. Mr. LOL. Derek says he beat everybody. You didn't beat everybody, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek King, who is going to be on Championship Wrestling from Memphis. I guess I'll believe it when I see it. All this. Rue. JG says, so sad about Butch Reed. I didn't realize Butch Reed was so young, too. Yeah, that definitely sucked. Terry says, what about a Brian Christopher Memorial Cup? Well, instead, we're going to have a King Cobra Cup. So the Cobra Cup tournament will take place at our first tapings coming up next week. So King Cobra will be in the house to award the winner their prestigious trophy. So it'll be very cool. Daquan, Derek will be on a losing streak. Yeah, that sounds about like Derek. Darius says, oh, that's super cool. Nice poster for the archives. Yeah, I just wish Brian was still around to sign it. I think Bill can still sign his name. I'm not real sure, but everybody else could. Let's see. Living the heat, brother. Living the heat. I can't keep it off me. JG says, I love how Impact theatrically kills people off on their shows. Yeah, I don't hate it. I thought it was kind of cool when like there was a hitman or some sort of hit out or something with Lucha Underground. It was more like a movie type of thing. Will he ever be booked? Who ever be booked? Caleb, what's up, man? Oh, is that Caleb brother? Caleb King. What is Caleb King doing on here? Willie says Butch Reed beat Ric Flair match in Florida. Terry says King Cobra is a very inspirational person. Yeah, King Cobra has a story, man. If you guys haven't heard it, then go to Classic Memphis Wrestling playlist on this YouTube channel, and there's a special interview that I conducted with King Cobra in the very spot where he pinned the King to become the first ever Black World Champion here in Memphis. And there's also another sit down interview where he tells a story about not giving up his career job to chase a wrestling job, which he retired from last year. King Cobra also is an entrepreneur and he invented something in the waste field that made him a millionaire. So even wrestling aside, you take away all the wrestling, legendary wrestling stuff that he did, just him as an individual working on his career job, he was very, very successful. Daquan, are you a baby face or a heel or neutral? I guess it depends on who you ask. Today, I'm a baby face. Just talked to Reggie B. Fine yesterday. He went in on the action. Oh, I actually talked to Reggie B. Fine not too long ago. Reggie told me that Tattoo could beat me up. Where that came from, I have no idea. I said, Reggie, I don't know what you're talking about. Why would you say that? That's a whole conversation that we need to have offline. But yeah, Reggie was way out there the last time I talked to him. Love him to death, but man, I also heard that he was going to be at the remembering the Black Legends of Memphis Wrestling on February 27th in Memphis, but I don't think he's going to be there. I think they reached out to him about it or something. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we need to talk about Reggie. JG, could you guys get Lawler to appear? We could. Any other questions? Man, a lot of stuff here. Good stuff today. Actually, a good episode today. Thunder Rosa versus Priscilla Kelly. If you guys missed it, it was awesome. About a 26-minute match that was as hard hitting as it gets. Love Lucha Underground, part Lucha Libre, part telenovela. Did I say that right? What are you trying to say here? Anyways, tickets are still on sale for March the 7th. Tickets are only $10. ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com. And just checking my messages, see if I got anything good in here. Willie says Championship Wrestling from Hollywood puts out real good matches. They do. Darius says, will you guys go live on YouTube or Facebook for the first show? The first show, all the shows will be streamed right here on youtube.com/championship wrestling. There will be a live chat that happens like it does each and every week. So Memphis Wrestling fans and Memphis Wrestling wrestlers like today, Todd Kenley, Alyssa Marino, Papo Esco. Who else? There was a lot of wrestlers in the chat today. That happens every Saturday at noon on YouTube Premiere and also on CW30 Wrestling. Daquan says Marco Stunt is a child. I love Marco Stunt. Don't be talking bad about Marco Stunt, Daquan. 5-star fan cam Fred says, Dustin, tell everyone about you being named one of the upcoming Memphis's top entrepreneurs. I forgot all about that. I was just as surprised as anybody else. So We Are Memphis put out a list of people to look out for and top entrepreneurs in the Memphis area, and I was on the list. And so the only way I knew about it is I was tagged in it. So it was very cool. And they gave me a shout out for bringing back Memphis wrestling to television and just the sports work that I do and all that. So thanks for bringing that up, 5-star fan cam Fred. Very cool stuff. I was surprised. I was not reached out to for an interview or anything like that. So it wasn't something set up that I knew about. They just hit me with it. So it was very cool. I'm flattered. Also, this is probably a good time to tell you that at grindcitymedia.com on Thursday morning at 9:01, I am going to be a guest on Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett's new show, Rise and Grind. So we'll be talking the return of Memphis wrestling. And of course, I know there's going to be all sorts of questions, who, what, when, where, and how. So I'll be on there to discuss that with them. Also Thursday morning, probably about 9:30, I'll be on Sports 56 WHBQ with Peter Edmondson and Anthony Sane to talk about pro wrestling. We do that every week. And then later that afternoon, we have Grind City Wrestling, myself, Devin Walker, and Eric McMahon. So we'll be talking about the return of Memphis wrestling too. So, gosh, it's going to be a busy week. Lots of stuff to do between now and then. Circle of Debate podcast says we will be definitely purchasing tickets so we can do a giveaway on the podcast. Man, that's awesome. I really appreciate that, Circle of Debate. You guys make the road trip at some point and come down and check us out live. We'll get you some VIP treatment. Coley says, what happened to Adrian Quest? Nothing happened to Adrian Quest. He launched Bermuda clothing line, so you can check him out on Twitter and keep up with him. Like I said before, some of the recent tapings that they had, or some of the latest tapings they had, not everybody's as accessible as what they used to be. Not everybody's as available as they used to be. You know, there's still restrictions and such like that. So that might be why you feel like you haven't seen Adrian Quest in a minute. Bo says, how far are those discussions about putting both Hollywood and Memphis on this channel getting? Heard something about it in the chat. We will try to make it happen. It's just a conversation that myself and David Marquez will have to have. But what that would look like is that on Saturday, not only would we have Championship Wrestling from Memphis premiering live with a live chat on this show, but then also probably an hour later or maybe an hour earlier or some other time during that Saturday, I would imagine that we would release the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I know Todd Kinley did say in the chat that you can find those episodes on United Wrestling Network, but that is not true. They probably haven't posted an episode in a couple of months, so you have to go to Fight TV. I do like Fight TV, but I am much more of a YouTube fan than I am a Fight TV fan for no other reason other than consumer reasons. And then also, if you guys are used to watching Championship Wrestling from Hollywood right here on this YouTube channel, we would like to continue that, but then also bring you Championship Wrestling from Memphis as well. So I will keep you posted on that. I don't want you to feel like that it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. It'll stay. I do have to get it confirmed and all that. David says, Dustin, you pronounced it right. Telenovela is a Latino drama, a soap opera of sorts. So it's definitely wrestling. Tamarius, hello, how are you, man? Talking some wrestling. Got a couple more minutes here. Thanks for joining us. Daquan, does Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and FSW have a partnership? Yes, they do. They use each other's talent. You saw actually next week, was it next week? Coming up in the next couple of weeks, Lacey Ryan will defend the FSW Women's Championship against Vipress. So that's coming up on the show very, very soon. Coley says, I'll be drawing a fan art of Lenny Loud with a sign. Draw one of Dustin and Maria Starr. 5-Star Fan Cam says, you need to get David Marquez on with you during a live segment. Yeah, totally. Actually, Dave is coming in town on Friday. Him and John Roberts will be in on Friday, and we'll spend Friday together, and then Saturday setting everything up, and then Sunday filming TV, and then I think they get out of here on Monday, so we'll probably have some breakfast or something like that. So there are definitely some opportunities as far as that's concerned with doing something with Dave. Dave, much like me, is very opinionated. I might have a little bit more of a filter than what Dave does, but that's probably just experience. He's been doing this, gosh, longer than I have, and I know I've got 25 years in it, so it could be interesting to say the least. Gary's Movie Exporium says, missed out on the show thanks to Mother Nature and winter, over a foot of snow through the day and night. Oh my gosh. Well, thinking about you, Gary. The show is available right now. All the matches are available right now. The show is available in full on this YouTube channel, so check it out. Willie says, my soulmate is Vipress. I knew that people would be excited about Vipress. I was excited to see her on AEW Dynamite or AEW Dark here not too long ago. David says, Lucha Underground definitely had some of those elements geared towards wrestling. Yes. Daquan says, Draw Lincoln Loud. All right. Very cool. Just checking, see if there's any kind of other questions. If not, I'll jump out of here. I really appreciate you guys for hanging out with me today. If you missed the show, like I said, all the matches are available in full right now, including Thunder Rosa versus Priscilla Kelly for the NWA Women's World Championship. And then also, not only are all those matches available in full, but you can watch the full episode as well without missing a beat. Derek King is texting me right here, and he says, filthy. Are they still in the live chat here? Wow. Oh boy. Interesting stuff. Also, guys, I received a special package in the mail this week. Can't tell you what it is. I can just tell you I got a special package. But they look great. And they're shiny. And they're gold. You know, it's valuable. Any more hints you need? When does the Book Darius Lee campaign start? Oh, maybe it should have started like 5 years ago. Willie says, I got an idea of what it is. Circle of Debate podcast, who will be in the main event for the first TV taping. You have to just watch and see. It will be so the first set of tapings will be for the Cobra Cup. So it'll be a tournament. And we're not going to beat these tournaments up or anything. Let's talk about that. Somebody said a new belt. Maybe it was several new belts. And I prefer championships over belts. But yeah, we did receive some goodies that you guys are really going to gonna love. Duck one and get it again. Always working. But yeah, so that's another thing is crowning our first champions. You know, of course, you have to develop characters and stories and know who these folks are before you can really get behind them and push for them to win something like that. But then also finding unique ways to crown champions without just having tournaments or some sort of just typical everyday whatever. So we're putting together some creative ideas for that, and you'll see that coming up very, very soon as well, within the first couple of months anyway. Thank you, David. I appreciate you for dropping in here. I'm going to be on here a couple of more minutes, I believe. Lots of good stuff. We talked about everything from Memphis wrestling to Andy Kaufman to Lucha Underground to NWA Women's Championships, Intergender Championships. Gosh, so much of the stuff. Just don't make championship belts like the WWE's. Gary, I like the WWE's championship belts. Our belts will be different than WWE's, but I like the style of belts. It reminds me of UFC. You know exactly what it is. Boom. Bo says, can't wait to see some good old Memphis vignettes. Yeah, overalls and cornfields, right? I'm just kidding, but you will definitely have some backstage stuff for you. Maybe more than what you see currently on the Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. Wait, are you in here? David says, I won't spoil it, but can't wait to see it. They look real nice. Real nice, Clark. Daquan, how many champions have you won in your career? Quite a few. I beat Derek King and Tattoo for most of them. What about Tom Lawler's Filthy Island and MLW? Man, I am subscribed to MLW, but I never seem to get around to watching all of it. So that's on me. 5-star fan cam, will Sir Mo be wrestling? No, I don't know that Sir Mo is physically capable of wrestling. I don't think so, but Mo will definitely be involved. Very, very involved. He's listed under the Legends section on our website. So championshipwrestlingmemphis.com/roster, which we just updated. We added a new women's wrestler, new tag team, new singles competitors as well. Sean, hello, how are you? It says you're actually a genius. Thanks for keeping the true spirit of wrestling alive. Well, I appreciate that, Sean. I don't know about a genius, but maybe hard worker. Uh, but I appreciate that. I'll take it. I'll take it any day somebody says that I'm a genius. Willie says, will Maria be your valet? Maria's my wife. So, yeah, I imagine. But if we're both at the desk commentating, so what happens if I have to take off this jacket and head to the ring? Does she come with me and we just leave the broadcast booth? Who would take that over? So, lots of questions and within that question. Gary says, Dustin, you are jacked, and even Magnus made you look little. How big is he? Actually, when we had that match, Magnus Aldis felt like he wasn't as physically fit as me. He was like, "Man, I should have dieted harder." I was like, "Are you kidding me? He's massive. The dude's big." I'll tell you who the biggest guy I've probably ever been in the ring with, as far as size and strength and stature, is Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn's a guy that if he does not want you to do something, you're not going to do it. There's just no way. But yeah, Nick Aldis is a big guy. Derek says, "You've never beaten me. I will kick Maria in the face." Okay. YouTube tattoo versus Dustin Starr, Memphis Grizzlies. The only time I beat Dustin Starr. Oh yeah. Well, that's I let you win. We did wrestle at FedEx Forum. That was pretty cool. Daquan says, "Dang." Joy says, "Good question." Coley says, "What can Carlota Casagrande fighting for?" I don't know what that means. Willie says Maria could be at the announcers table. Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool. Maria broadcasting my match. If she's calling my match, she better have nothing but good things to say. Sean must be drinking if she thinks you're a genius. Well, I'm bringing you along for the ride, Derek. How much of a genius could I really be? Five-star fan cam Fred says, will Brandon Baxter be involved? There have been discussions with old Double B. Stay tuned. For sure. A lot of guys that you won't see on the first couple of shows or maybe even first taping doesn't mean they won't be involved or they won't be booked. It just means that, like I said before, not everybody's 100% available 100% of the time. And also this event is taking place on Valentine's Day. Um, there is somewhat of a pandemic going on, so to speak. So Daquan says, Derek, relax, bro. Yeah. Manners, Derek. Look, Derek's already being a jerk. What is this picture too of you in this suit on your screen thing? Actually, I'm extremely surprised that Derek King actually has a YouTube login. So that's interesting. Derek should just be here being live, except for nobody's allowed in the house. Five-star fan cam says, friends, please subscribe to Five-star fan cam for many of Dustin's matches. That's right. So if you click on Five-star fan cam, there are matches of me beating Tattoo. There are matches of me beating Derek King. There are matches of my Maria slapping the taste out of Derek King's mouth. Me versus Hurricane Helms. Me versus Nick Aldis. Me versus the King. Me versus Jeff Jarrett. Me versus Chris Masters, Matt Hardy. We had a good one. I was kicked in the back by Dijo El Espectro so hard that I lost feelings in my arms and legs. Um, lots of interesting stuff on there. Lots of outlaw indie wrestling too, to be honest with you. Cowboy James Storm is another. I remember Maria slipping in James Storm's beer on the ramp. That was a lot of fun. Busted her butt. Me versus superstar Bill Dundee. I beat up handsome Jimmy Valiant for smarting off, trying to kiss my Maria. You know how that goes. Coley says Jacob Tutu versus Lincoln Lau. Not sure who they are. Chris Masters, former NWA World Tag Team Champion. Yeah. Yep. Chris Mordetsky, which he just competed here a couple of months ago on Primetime Live. I imagine you'll see that match coming up here pretty soon on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood at some point until they go back into production in California. Anyways, any other questions? If not, I'm gonna jump off here. I was gonna go to Facebook real quick and talk to some of my Facebook friends and talk Memphis wrestling here on this awesome Saturday. Looks good outside in Memphis. Got a lot of video editing to do. I shot a couple of TV shows yesterday and a lot of commercials, and I forgot one 15-second spot. So that means I have to get all dressed up to do one 15-second spot, which not complaining. That's totally cool. Darius Lee says, hey, don't YouTube matches of Dustin beating Tattoo. Only watch the Grizzlies match on 5-Star Fan Cam page. Well, that was before I was truly over with the Grizzlies. That would never happen now. I'm kidding. Guys, I haven't won a match in probably 5 years, to be perfectly honest with you, and it doesn't even matter. Gary says, Dustin, is Austin Aries a big a jerk as he was when he left Impact? I have never met Austin Aries in person, so I can't answer that. Terry says, great show as always. Thank you, brother. Coley is going in business for themselves. Daquan, if you a wrestling match with your wife, would you let her win? Of course, Daquan. Happy wife, happy life. I'd let my Maria pin me any day. Wouldn't you? Sean says, thanks for going live. Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the genius comment. I'm going to rub that in Derek's face for a long time to come. Willie, have a great evening, Dustin, you and your family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. DK overrated. That sounds about like DK. Willie, you have a good evening as well. I'm going to watch some wrestling, get ready for the Super Bowl tomorrow. David says, we're getting a lot of Loud House references today. I do like that series on Nickelodeon. I don't remember if they ever did a full-on wrestling episode, but I'm sure that they mention it now and then. Hashtag gentlemen, thank you. Now you're in and I'm out. You took my job. I didn't take your job. We worked there at the same time. Don't think I haven't been watching you, Dustin. I miss my Memphis Grizzlies money. I bet you do. So at this point with the Memphis Grizzlies, I am the backup PA this year. So I get coronavirus tested, and I've taken 2 this week. I'm constantly taking them and just hoping that I don't have to work, because if I work, that means somebody got sick. So I don't ever want that to happen. See you later, Gary. Thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Anything else? If not, you can head over to Facebook. I know I plugged this earlier, but if you go to facebook.com/proshingle and you like their page, you can enter to win $500 cash. Circle of Debate says, have a great weekend. We will definitely be in touch. We'd love you back on the show to discuss about the first tapings. Yeah, either have me just before or have me just after Circle of Debate. That would be very cool. We're going to try not to give a whole lot of spoilers and all that good stuff. That way people will watch. But, when the fans are there, they do what they do. But let me know. I'm game for it. DK says, I got a secret handshake for you the next time I see you. I know Maria's going to be hating that. Brother, get your COVID test this week. Thank you for the live. It was amazing. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate that. Can we have a Dustin Star reads mean tweets? Oh, wow. Wait just a second here. Fred has a good idea. I don't think there's very many mean tweets about me, though, are there? If there are enough mean tweets about me, if you can find enough, I could read them. Maybe that's good content for the behind the scenes segment. Bo says this has to be the longest live reaction stream yet. Lots of good discussion. Man, as long as you guys are talking, I'm talking. Some of them last 15 minutes, some of them 30 minutes, whatever. I trust me, if we went through your Twitter, Darius, I'm sure that we could find some from as early as last year. DK says, I know some. If you send them to me, that would be funny. So that would be a behind the scenes YouTube feature of me reading mean tweets and mean comments. They took our jab. Sorry, I couldn't resist the South Park reference. I'll send you my text message feeds. I love it. I love it. Hey, there are some very, crucial YouTube comments too, and most of them are about my hair. Apparently, my hair is major heat with people. Dude, you can't make some. Daquan, you can't be chatting with me for an hour and then go send some bad tweets about me. Don't do that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, everybody, I'm going to head over to Facebook right now. So if you want to join me, go to facebook.com/. CW30 Wrestling. And we have our podcast that's coming up on Monday. Another big episode coming up next week featuring Ruby Reyes versus CC Chanel. And also the NWA National Heavyweight title will be on the line. Aaron Stevens. Yes, that Aaron Stevens. He is going to defend against Trevor Murdoch. But I will see you guys in just a second on Facebook. Darius says you may not be able to make my tweets out from months ago. Living and learning, brother. Well, it's about time. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you guys. Have a good Saturday. Oh, yeah.